Sacrifice to these grounds. At the next full moon, we have chosen the victim for you. We know of a young girl with flaming red hair and sea green eyes who lives in your town. She is trusting and most innocent. She is your dear friend, Susan. You will bring her here and behead her with this golden sword.
The sword appeared on the altar as if by magic.
Take it and bury it under the altar until the full moon beckons you to the sacrifice. Under my spell, you will do all this. Now go, but remember, you will know nothing of this. But all you must do later will lie hidden in your subconscious mind. Now, bury the sword and go.
Tommy turns and stumbles drunkenly, blindly through the woods, as if possessed. Ah, my dear listener, have you ever been hypnotized or put under a spell? Have you heard of mysterious disappearances and deaths? Can you believe such things really do happen? You know they do. And another innocent victim is about to be taken, unless something or someone can save her. The next morning, in the attic, Susan found Tommy staring at the computer screen. Susan senses that something is wrong. Suddenly, the screen comes on, a sickly green. Flaming letters appear, but no voice is heard. The lettering on the screen is a greeting with a series of menu choices. Choose 1,000 names for the devil, evil spells and incantations, curses, amulets, and magic potions. Wow, this is great, says Susan. I've sometimes dreamt of witches. They frighten me. I've seen some of their gruesome pets in my dreams. Three-horned goats, werewolves, black cats, and clammy bats. Oh yes, Susan was enthralled with witches. And look at this, she said. Famous witches and warlocks. And this, said Tommy in a trembling voice, methods of human sacrifice. Let's read that one. He reached over and clicked the mouse.
These secrets can only be known if you have been purified and given the magic access words. You do this by following Tommy to the top of the parapet at the first full moon.
Oh my, says Susan. Do you think we dare go? Tommy firmly tells Susan that she must go. The master of the darknet commands it. We both must go and wait for the coming of the full moon. Susan thinks Tommy sounds very strange, shrugs her shoulders and says, oh, it sounds very scary, but... She glances once more at the black screen and says, I'm willing. Let's do it. The night of the full moon has arrived. The following events took place at the dark promontory. Susan and Tommy reached the witching ground. This time, all the witches and demons were assembled, and Tommy, now in a deep, deep trance, reaches for the golden sword. Susan was put into a deep hypnotic state by the master, her slim body draped over the cold stone altar. There were incantations and secret words said over the body, and Tommy, sword in hand, stood above her. As he lifted to strike, a huge bolt of lightning crashed through the dark cloud above the ground. The witches, screaming, scattered and fled. The master escaped into the woods. Susan and Tom lay across each other, unconscious. The next morning, the local paper reported that several bolts of lightning came out of the dark cloud hanging over the promontory. Once again it appears that the forces of darkness were around the wood and warned everyone to stay away. At dawn, 2 figures were seen stumbling from the woods. They were spied by 2 runners. Nothing else was known. The 2 small figures, Tom and Susan, trying to recover from their ordeal, reached the attic and collapsed on the floor. Neither could remember exactly what had happened to them. Susan only remembered screaming as she saw the sword in Tommy's hand and the brilliant flash of lightning that struck the circle. Tommy lifts his head and gazes at Susan. Susan begins to sob quietly. "Tommy, did you really mean to kill me?" "Of course not. How could I? How could I even think of doing that?" Susan begs Tommy never to contact the dark net again, or to even think of going into the dark wood ever again. "Promise, you must promise me, or our beautiful friendship will end." "I promise with all my heart," said Tommy. "Thank you," said Susan, and exhausted, she falls asleep. Suddenly, the computer screen throbs to life. A strange warmth flows into Tommy's fingers as he moves clumsily toward the computer. As he does, the screen oozes a sick green color. And then, the face of the master appears.
Do you think you can go against our plan of sacrifice? It's not so easy. How dare you, you little worm? How dare you promise Susan that you would never bring her among us again? You will. Come to me, worm. Come to me now. We must meet now and have a very serious talk about this.
Tommy feels himself growing weak.
Now, Tommy, you must come now.
Tommy feels as if he's being sucked deeper and deeper into a strange place. He sees deathly shapes, fog, and fire all around. Where am I? What's happening? Tommy's spirit has been sucked into the computer. His almost lifeless body remains on the attic floor. Once again, without command, the computer screen lights up in a beautiful sky blue color. An almost ethereal sound moves through the speakers, rising higher and higher in intensity. Susan is awakened by the sound and screams when she sees Tommy's lifeless body on the floor in front of the computer. She shakes him and pleads with him to wake up, but there is no response. Susan is in a panic. And then the computer begins to blink frantically. The word Susan is flashed on the screen with a written command. She sits at the keyboard and follows instructions to access the internet page in front of her. She enters the code and reads, "Welcome, Susan. Welcome to the LightNet. The LightNet awaits your entry. If you will press Alt-5 and find the menu, you will find us." There is only one line on the menu page. It reads, "Rescue instructions." Susan excitedly enters, and the following message appears. "Welcome, Susan. We are the protectors of the human race. Since creation, we have prevented the forces of darkness from controlling the earth and its people. We were informed by one of our messengers that a dark page was created on the internet for the purpose of controlling the human race and creating an evil empire. We were watching when you were led to the witching ground. It was our power that sent the bolt of lightning to free you of the sacrifice. We have always watched places of witchery and always saved those who were to become victims." Susan interrupts on her keyboard. "Please, can you tell me what happened to Tommy? He's lying there so still. It appears, though, that he's still alive." Patience! Tommy's body is alive, but his spirit has been taken